modern mobile games are terrible. No matter which one I play nowadays, they just feel soulless and they exist only for Family Guy clips to go above. But the thing is though, what made mobile games from the past so much more memorable? So to answer that question, I decided to revisit a bunch of classic mobile games to find out if they're as good as I remember them. And for each, I'm going to rate them out of 10. Starting off with a classic, Fruit Ninja. Coincidentally, this is the first mobile game I ever remember playing. You play as a ninja with an insatiable appetite for making fruit salad and a disdain for explosives. This game is pretty fun because as well as having a standard survival mode, it has a really entertaining arcade mode where you have to get the highest score. It especially gets really crazy once you have all the power-ups and special bananas while you're playing. Like honestly, what the fuck is this? Altogether, it's got a great gameplay loop and it has a good variety of modes that makes me want to play more. 8 out of 10. Next we got Temple Run. You just got to keep running for as long as possible whilst being chased by these angry monkeys. Like seriously, what did this guy do to piss him off? But most of this game just involves jumping, sliding, running on the correct side of a path, and turning in time. It does speed up as you keep running, so unless your reflexes are like the Flash or something, you're going to end up making a mistake like not turning right or left, and you'll end up running off the path like some Looney Tunes character. Apart from that, the game gets really repetitive after a while, as there isn't any other game modes that could make it more interesting. It's certainly not the worst endless runner out there. 5 out of 10. Next we have Jetpack Joyride. So this game is pretty simple. You've got to escape the laboratory and run for as long as possible with a minigun jetpack. I'm being for real. To say this game is fun is an understatement. Not only are there some fun platforming moments, you get to ride a fucking dragon. I mean yeah, there are some other cool vehicles, but still, a fucking dragon. Plus there's some pretty inventive power-ups you can get from collecting coins along the way. Overall, it's great to see this game is held up and is still fun after all these years. Also, the guy that designed this game also designed Fruit Ninja, so props to that absolute beast. 9 out of 10. Cut the rope. Like the title, this game is pretty self-explanatory. You just got to cut the rope to move the candy, so this spawn of Satan can quench its sugar addiction. Whilst the game can be pretty satisfying once you've gotten 3 stars on a level, it gets pretty boring after a while, especially later in the game when the level design gets horrendous. I mean, apart from that, I literally am struggling to think of any more to say about this game. It's honestly so unmemorable. Also, this guy needs to book a dentist appointment ASAP. 2 out of 10. Next up we have Where's My Water? Honestly, until I started recording this video, I had never played this game ever in my life. So I was going in pretty blind with this. So in this game you play as Swampy the alligator, whose only goal in life is just to take a bath. Only for his entire plumbing system to be messed up by this dickhead. Anyway, so the aim of the game is to redirect the water so Swampy can have his bath. And honestly, the game gets really creative with how you get the water to him. You might have infinite water or only a small amount. And on others you have a time limit to get the water to Swampy before he gets cooked in an acid bath. Plus tons of levels have really good puzzles on how to open up certain areas. Altogether, I was really impressed with this game. It's really fun and inventive, and I'm surprised I've not played it sooner. 8 out of 10. Right, so now we got Doodle Jump. Now this game is a true classic, and I remember playing tons of it when I was a kid. Your objective is to get this crudely drawn Pokemon reject as high as you can. To get up, you have to traverse using these jumping pads. Plus you need to avoid jumping into these black holes, which are so fucking annoying. You also have to contend with all these monsters that are trying to end you as well. But fret not, because you do have a trusty weapon. Your nose. Like honestly, how did I come up with this stuff? This game's got a really unique art style as well that makes you feel like you've drawn it while bored in class. And there's also a good challenge with the obstacles and creativity you have to do to traverse upwards. The game can get pretty samey at points, especially as you get further up. Otherwise, it's pretty good. Plus it's a good time waster as well. 7 out of 10. If you don't know what Pixel Gun 3D is, let me explain briefly. Minecraft plus guns. For a mobile FPS game, this does have some pretty good controls. So if you're accustomed to playing FPS games, you're going to dominate easily. If not, then, you know, sucks to be you. The game has got a lot of variety in terms of maps that are definitely not copied from other popular franchises. There's also a high degree of customization with weapons you can unlock. And there's many different game modes on offer that accommodate a variety of playstyles. So it's got a lot to like about it. But I can't say the same about the monetization on this game. As a result, this game in a lot of places feels very pay to win. So unless you have tons of money to spend up on front, which in this economy, why would you? So while this game is fun, the monetization and greediness just holds it back for me. 6 out of 10. Plants vs Zombies. Do I even need to explain this one? You have one simple task, and that's to fight an ever-mounting zombie army. It starts out pretty simple, but then it evolves into like World War I levels of trench warfare. And the major thing to this game is the strategy and the plants you select for the levels playing a key factor in how you will be approaching the level. Like bro, you'll be studying Sun Tzu to get an advantage in this game. Plus the game has a really distinctive art style that makes it stand out with other mobile games. Like no wonder EA milked this franchise to death. I mean, apart from a slow start to this game, it's just a lot of fun, and it does have a really high replay value as you can approach levels in many different ways. It's very much the tower defense game of all time. 9 out of 10. So let's change things up a bit with paper toss. So you play as an office worker trying to pass the time like all other office workers do. Tossing paper into a bin. Very productive. But what adds to the challenge of this game is the fact you have a fan blowing, and it can blow on either the left or right side and at different speeds. So this forces you to adjust and change the throw every time you get a new piece of paper. Sometimes you'll get a sick shot, and others will make you pissed off with how close it gets. But there's no additional game modes or other sort of things like power-ups that could make the game much more interesting. So it's good if you have nothing better to do, but it's not revolutionary and it's pretty dead. 4 out of 10. The next game we got is Dumb Ways to Die. You've probably come across this video when you've been scrolling on YouTube. Like the video it's based on, it involves these blob looking things in dangerous scenarios. The minigames are pretty inventive and require you to use loads of different methods to stop certain death and destruction, such as being chased by a car, creeping past a bear, and trying not to be hit by a train. While most of the games are serviceable, there's a bit of BS in some parts of this game. Like some of the response times can be really off, and you'll end up losing points for no reason. Like, what did I do wrong? Apart from that, the game is really creative and you can unlock some cool character customization as well as change up the loading screen. So props to that. 7 out of 10. Flight control. This game is perfect if your dream was to ever be an air traffic controller. This game involves moving planes to runways based on their colour. Simple? Wrong. You're hindered by the fact that each aircraft moves at a different speed. Helicopters are slow, propellers are average, and the jets are fast for no apparent reason. And as the game progresses, you have a lot more planes coming onto the screen. Like you'll end up having to do 200 multitasking tasks at the same time to make sure you don't crash two planes together and cause a national disaster. But honestly, that's what makes the game fun, as it ends up being a problem-solving mission just to manage the chaos on screen. Added to the fact there's tons of different maps, it gives it a lot of replayability. I actually had a lot of fun with this game, but the music, oh my god. 8 out of 10. And now we've come to what I've been dreading the most. The bottom pile. Flappy Bird. While it looks simple with just tapping on the screen to get this goldfish looking ass bird between the pipes, it is just mindless tapping, tapping, tapping on the screen, and the sound effects. Oh my god, the sound effects. This game is not enjoyable. And clearly, the creator of the game thought so too, because he deleted it. And good thing, because I couldn't think of a worst thing to put upon my worst enemy. It doesn't even deserve a rating. 0. 0 out of 10. But for every terrible mobile game, there is always a masterpiece as well. And that is... Now this is what a mobile game can and should be. Look, I'm sure you know what happens in this game, but I'm going to explain it anyway, I don't care. These birds get their eggs stolen by a bunch of green mutated pigs, which logically results in the birds committing acts of violence against the pig society. God, really setting the mood. But if you look past that though, this game has some really unique themed worlds. Not to mention you have a cast of easily recognisable and creatively designed characters, each with a unique ability. The gameplay is simple to learn, but it's difficult to master, as the structures you have to defeat get more wacky and complex as you progress. So it requires you to think outside the box and how to tackle them. Not to mention there's a lot of replay value, because if you don't get the 3 stars for a level, you have that itch to go back and strive for absolute perfection. This game has got a unique balance of amazing gameplay and great visuals, and not to mention an iconic soundtrack. But most importantly, the game's just fun. It's what a lot of these mobile games that I've looked back on have in common, and it's what a lot of mobile games nowadays should be striving to be. I think going back and playing the classics can help to understand how to make great mobile games in the present that'll hopefully be classics in their own right in the future. And with Angry Birds as that standard, I leave you with a game that is deserving of a 10 out of 10. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and click the video on the screen, because according to YouTube, that's what you want to see next.